What you're about to see is a free episode of Growcast TV. Now, we do this live every single week for our members, plus a member podcast, giveaways, and so much more over at patreon.com/Growcast. Come and join us, get into the library of Growcast TV episodes. It's the best membership in cannabis growing. But for now, enjoy this episode for free, Growcast TV.
We are on the line with Covert Genetics, of course. One more time.
Thank you guys for having me here.
Covert, where do you want to go first with this? I want to talk about first of all, members are going to have questions. They're going to drop them in the Q&A. So any questions you have for the great Covert Jonathan, drop them now, drop them later, drop them when you spawn them. But where do you want to start, man? You want to talk about your breeding work, or you want to talk about that lovely, as you put it, BHO done right?
Sure, let's talk about that since you got to partake in some of that. That was done by a guy here locally, literally from his basement. So, I mean, when you invest in the right equipment, it really doesn't matter where you run that equipment, in my opinion. And he does just that. Yields will vary, obviously, per strain. So it's not like I can say, everything of mine dumps, but what you got to see was from a bunch of small plants, and that was a nice representation of what the Kimberley line has to offer, because that was predominantly the Kimberley, a blend of the Kimberley. If you enjoyed that.
Oh, dude, I got high as fuck. It was, not just that, it was that delicious consistency that I like, just right. And the terps were off the chain, and it was very, very potent. I know a couple of members allegedly got their hands on that. Let's see here. Just Dylan says, so yummy. All legal, of course. Yeah, man. So when you talk about in the basement and investing in equipment, is this like, I knew some pretty fucking good hash makers who worked out of a shipping container and did a low heat purge. You know what I'm saying? Are we talking about that, or like you said, is he investing in more expensive machines?
No,
or is it just old school?
Closed system.
Low heat.
Closed
Loop system. Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's just not fond of the industry as far as a lot of the smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. So he just sticks to his own.
Nice, man. Well, very blessed to have tried that.
Yeah, that was a nice blend. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, man.
A lot of
that.
chemical tones to it as far as like what Kimberley has.
Yeah, I know that's what you're after. It's exactly what you're hunting for. Again, questions for Covert, drop them in the Q&A, everybody. He is here to answer. I know you're a hit with the members. Can't wait to see how my Boats and Hose does in my basement, says Sunny Gardens. Yeah, that Boats and Hose. A bunch of members got their hands on it. They're popping quite a few of your strains. Some people with blueberry brulee, as I said. So very exciting. The Covert Genetics winding up in the Discord and in the Growcast membership.
I'm happy to send more freebies. I mean, you guys, word of mouth goes far, so I don't mind sharing.
Fuck yeah, man. What are you working on? What's the next big project? Aren't you working on Femmes?
Yeah, I'll be releasing my first two feminized creations.
Sweet.
Early this coming year. So they're in the breeding room right now.
What are those two?
So it'll be a GMO BX, and then it'll be a Slap and Tickle S1.
Nice, man. I like that.
Slap and Tickle is GMO to grape pie, and then I'm taking the Slap and Tickle to the GMO itself. So that'll be the back, it'll be a back cross by way.
A lot of that GMO work, you find those gassy foul terps that you're looking for in a lot of those GMO crosses?
Oh yeah, definitely. And the reason that these two were selected is because these two phenos, obviously the GMO pheno being found by Skunkmaster Flex, that one washes at right around 6%, And then the slap and tickle washes at 6+%. So these are very, very heavy yielding water hash strains, as far as like if you wanted to turn that into rosin or just keep it as water hash.
Sweet, man.
Proven yielders. So that's why I was gifted these phenos to work with, in hopes that we can continue to find that sort of return in the hunt, because it's nice to have somebody else's pheno that dumps, but it's also nice to have a pheno that you can say, nope, this is not proprietary, but this is special to our facility. Nobody has this pheno because we made seeds with these and we hunted them.
That's super cool, man. I love it. Yeah, a lot of people want that feminized genetic at this point as well. So I'm excited to see you branching out there. And a fan of the GMO myself, seems to express in a wide variety of manners. Like GMO seems like it would be a good building block. They don't seem to all taste and smell the same in my experience.
Well, that's the thing is a lot of these shops are saying they have GMO on the shelf when in fact it's just garlic cookies.
Ah. What would you consider to be the real GMO?
Pheno that Skunk Master Flex found of garlic cookies from the Mako seeds.
Right. So when they rebreed that strain, they're saying it's GMO, but really it's just a cross.
No, they just may be misunderstanding the fact that GMO is a specific pheno of garlic cookies, and they popped packs of garlic cookies, and now they're under the impression that they have GMO because they selected a pheno from this garlic cookies or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, that being said, that's I really don't get hung up on that, because you know how it goes. Somebody could have something and they just renamed it something else simply for a sales pitch in their shop. So
100%. I mean, dude, it's about to get wacky. If you want to talk about it, you're the perfect person to talk about this with. But it's about to get crazy. I saw recently. All right, I'm going to tell a little bit of a personal story here, and then it'll lead to a larger point. Just a year ago, to the month actually, our producer Rob Smith passed away, and we've been waiting to do a line in honor of Rob for a while, and we're going to do it on this next cross, and we're going to call it Atlas, and it's perfect to do with the Peach Quake line. So that's really cool. For those who remember Rob, he was integral to this show, and you know, we said we were going to do this for a while. We wanted to wait for the right time. Again, you know, make the strain really special, kind of make it make sense, and all that. So we want to call it Atlas because his product he was known for was the Atlas plant trainer. A lot of people remember that product. So we're going to call it Atlas, and I go and I get on Google and I Google Atlas strain. You know what I found? And this is so fascinating to me, man. This is the wave that is coming. I found that Atlas came up as a strain, but when I looked further, it was simply Durban poison that some medical dispensary didn't want to list as Durban poison because it has the word. So they changed it to Atlas. So we're going to start renaming things just for our own brand. And furthermore, it's not necessarily going to be a medical dispensary. There's going to be celebrities. There's going to be, you know, Bieber coming in and doing, he's in the industry now. There's going to be a Bieber Kush. And chances are, instead of going through the work to breed something or find a breeder to work with, like some people are, you know, shout out to the aforementioned Jaleel going to work with a breeder. A lot of these people aren't even going to do that, man. They're just going to take a strain that exists, rename it, brand it, and sell it because they're famous. So I think that's coming like crazy. And maybe I'm cynical, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll turn out different. I don't know what you think.
If you go to somebody with enough money and clout and say, I want a name strain or a strain named after me, what do you got? Oh, well, I've already got this stuff made up. I can just fucking switch the name on it. I've never released it. Nobody will know.
1000%.
I guess it's too easy. The work should be done. It's like, okay, what are you after? What characteristics? What kind of high? You know, like what's your profile as far as smells and tastes? Do you want fast flowering, long flowering? Like it's just there's a gauntlet of things that, you know, boxes that need to be checked as far as like when you're trying to curate something for somebody versus taking, the wallet warriors route and paying somebody just to do a name change.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and I kind of feel two ways about it. Let's check in with chat quickly. Someone said, "I smell kerosene coming soon." Jordan Poison says, "Hippie Stick." Yeah, that's a good strain name. Bieber the Breeder, Just Do It, Skunk Rhino for sure. Oh, and that's the thing. Someone's talking about Atlas in here. Here's the other thing. I feel two ways about it because I do think that it's a shame. Like things are going to get crazy. Like we're not going to be able to keep, it's hard enough to keep track of anything now. When people just start renaming stuff because they don't like the way it sounds, like things are just going to get out of hand. But also screw everybody who gets so bent out of shape about these names, man. This is why I said that you're a good person to talk to, better than anybody else, because you've been on the shit end of this stick before, where it's like, first of all, I'm naming my strain Atlas. It is that important to me. Second of all, there's nothing you can do. Sue me. Like it's not a thing. I don't take other people's names to try to sell more packs. This name means a lot to me and I'm going to use it. And that person didn't even breed anything. So of course we're going to continue with this name, or we might switch it up a little bit, right? Like Atlas's Delight or something like that. Right. But I'm not going to step off of this just because someone has the same name. And I don't know why you can name something Peach Pie and there's 4 different peach pies and no one says anything. But if you go and name something, a common other breeder's name, they will lose their shit on you. We're here with producer Jay Smooth. He's a longtime smoker, but he's not a grower. He probably doesn't know this. People get crazy about names, dude. Like they will. This poor breeder who we're talking to here, Covert Genetics, he named something Boats and Hose, which isn't even an original concept. It's a reference to a Will Ferrell movie. And someone else apparently had already bred a strain.
Reference makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, now you're getting chat. So some guy apparently had bred something and called it Boats and Hose. Again, he didn't come up with it. This is a reference to a movie. So I don't know where the line is between.
Different.
Yeah, and I understand. So here's the other thing, Covert. I understand if they named it Slurricane. That's like a word that didn't exist. They're trying to cop. You're making a reference. Didn't you also get yelled at for using the term like I-80, which is a fucking road?
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah, no,
reference.
I got heat from JJ because he thinks that everything I do is based off of his work, and it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure I started breeding with something completely different than Kim.
Yeah.
So that's just neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. I don't really pay attention to what he says. But yeah, there's he actually made an I-80 after I did, just to spite me. But there's been a few of them. Sangria, fucking Aficionado Estates. Those guys have a Sangria, and they jumped on my case. And after I explained to them, I said, look, I didn't know of you before I made this. I didn't know that there was another Sangria. It was an idea that me and a buddy put together due to the strain names. And it fit, you got Tangy Haze, which is filled with all sorts of flavors. Then you have lemon brulee, you got a culmination of fruits, you get sangria. It fit. And I said, I don't understand why a group as big as you is even worried about small as I am, let alone the name of a drink. It's not anything that's specific to you. It's the name of a drink, and we should all be able to eat, as far as I'm concerned. And they ended up seeing it the way I did and apologized. And
that's pretty cool. And that's what I think a lot of it is, to be honest. I think a lot of it is just a reaction. I don't even really think it's an emotion. I think they're just upset. And let's be honest.
Real,
yeah, let's be sympathetic here. I see their point. Like, it is kind of crazy that there's multiple peach pies and that, right? But that's a good example because I literally don't know where, again, to draw that line. Like, if you use a name common enough, there's going to be multiple. There's 3 or 4 peach pies out there, and I'm not sure there was a war over that. It's like, at a certain point, I understand what they're concerned with, which is the confusion, the insane amount of strains that are coming out, and then, again, them landing on your same name. But you just got to say who it was by, and you have to assume. You have to. My advice to people who really get upset about that would be, you have to logically use your brain and realize how many people are breeding their own strains and naming it as we speak, whether or not they sell them, whatever. There's only a limited amount of references. There's only a limited amount of words in the fucking English language. You have to be okay, or at least expect that someone's going to land on one of your same names, especially unless you fucking make up words. If you don't want that to happen, make up words, because if you do a common pop culture reference, what do you think is going to happen? It's just, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. It doesn't, none of my opinions matter anyways, but.
I mean, and for me, a lot of that ties back to how important it is to, okay, what's the lineage? Like, for me, a lot of my strain names are based off of something that you can get out of making something from the strain names. It like Death by Lemons and Cincy Burn OG. When you burn lemons, you get lemon brulee.
Right.
Stuff like that. Like I play on words.
It came naturally. That wasn't something that you tried to cop from somebody. The intent is everything to me. The intent is everything.
Right, exactly. The intent was, hey, I got that from, mixing these words together. Took a lot of work to come up with this in my head. It wasn't just, oh, let's hop on fucking Google, start doing strain names and pick out the one that I like the best.
No, that's exactly right.
From you.
That was not your intention, and in a court of law, intent is huge, and that's how I see the situation with Atlas, for instance. And it's like fucking tough crap, man. It sucks, but there's nothing you can do. Like you again, unless you make up a brand new word, you almost have to expect, with the amount of strains being created, that something is going to double up. And yeah, like you said, acknowledging the lineage, acknowledging the breeder fixes all of that. But I think it's just a reaction on most breeders' part, and rightfully so. It's like, shit, I got to answer a bunch of DMs that this isn't mine. This isn't. I kind of get it. Let's check in with chat, of course. The pettiness is real in this industry. I like that take, Turpy. San Greedy, that's pretty funny. It's like real champagne has to be grown in Champagne, France. Real Scotch has to be made in Scotland, says Marybeth Sanchez. It's a way for consumers to know what to expect from the phenos. Kind of like a reference to your GMO talk. Very interesting there. I like that take. TV show, movies, art, books, all borrowing from each other. Yes, true. So true. And there are lawsuits over that, man. I hope that we never get to the point where our industry is being torn apart by the type of litigation that like the music industry does, where they're literally in a court of law going, all right, this is a bad example because it is a direct ripoff, but the Vanilla Ice bass line versus the do 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 versus the Queen song. I mean, there was a lawsuit over that shit. It tears the industry apart, and I hope that we're not so tied up in that conflict and we lose sight of what this whole community is all about, which is not that type of division. So I hope I landed that plane very high. Let's see. Lexlo's got a strain name. His strain name is Emoji Drum Weed, and I'll sue anyone who uses my strain name. I got Lexlo. I like that. Change the spelling a little, says Brixie. Nice. Elvish language strain name. Yeah, can't get copped there. J.R. Tolkien coming back to sue you from beyond the grave. Spooky.
Spooktacular.
Spooktacular, says producer Jay. Oh man, too funny. Oh, Bowie in the chat. Not sure why, but I like it. It's pretty spooky in here. What are you doing? Oh, sorry, Jay. What do you got?
I'm growing Bieber's breeder. So.
Oh, nice. No, you got a whole tent full of Bieber Kush?
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. It smells like like bubble gum and Axe body spray?
Yeah. I was just gonna say
probably such an outdated reference. He's like a tattooed man. What's that, Covert?
Bubblegum and 16-year-olds.
Yikes. Throwing allegedly. Listen, man, you're gonna pop that Bieber Kush if he releases it, right? No, Cobra would be like, fuck that. Common stealth grower likes it. He's cracking up. Lexlo says my strain is called weed.
It's like, but it smells like Teen Spirit.
Yikes.
What? Do you like nerve?
Appropriate.
Covert's tearing it up. All right, we're gonna keep it going. Jay, do you think we can smoke one more? Can we put one more down while we continue to hang out with Covert here?
Yeah, we just had like a 10-minute break, so
Yeah, that's enough to
I think
clear
that's
the
a
brain
breather.
cells.
You should be-
Questions, guys, come on. We got them. We got a couple coming in, but usually they pile up here. Usually I have a haystack of questions. Everybody's high. I'm sure everybody's high as shit.
Okay, if I ask questions, I'll just fucking say stuff.
No, we
I've
have some here. I wasn't happy with the amount. That's how
I-
jaded I am at this point.
Oh,
greedy.
Jesse's got a question for you. He's asking about any feeding differences from males and females, and if there's anything to boost pollen production. That's a fucking great question.
So I personally can't speak on if there's anything that will boost my pollen production because I've never been worried about pollen production. I have so much pollen, like the shit piles up on the floor by the time I'm done. Like, no joke.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A healthy male is gonna dump pollen,
Ample
whether
pollen.
pollen is sterile, and of course the size of the male matters a lot too. So I mean, figure an average size male that comes up to your midsection and is an arm's width around is gonna dump more pollen than you would ever need for any breeding, as far as in your home or anything like that, or even a hoop house. I mean, these males drop lots and lots of pollen.
I guess it's not like bud weight where you have this huge differentiation between not even poorly fed, but you know what I'm trying to say, the huge differentiation in end yield possibilities.
Yeah, well, yes, because I mean, a male that's struggling, he's not going to produce as much flower. His flower development matters in his offspring. If you have a male that has
okay, yeah. No, that's true. I was thinking about the pollen itself, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right. So with that being said, I don't need to be worried if I'm ever going to have enough pollen. It's how fast can I get this male out of here because I'm so allergic to the pollen.
Oh shit.
And it's not like they dump pollen all at once. These flowers build up just like female flowers, and they'll start dropping pollen for 3 to 4 weeks, easy, even longer, because it takes 3 to 4 weeks to cluster up and form just like a female would, and then after that, that bulking, you can really see what the male has to offer in the end for his offspring. Yeah, no, I can't speak on if there's anything that would boost pollen production outside of just a healthy plant.
That does make sense. Have you ever come across a male or a cross where you pull the male out of a pollination and like the pollen just wouldn't drop? Is there ever like a bunk? You know what I mean?
As far as like when they dud out.
Yeah, or just like, have you ever gotten a male that just wouldn't drop pollen, or like a bunk male? Like sometimes you get a bunk female. It just doesn't really produce a lot of.
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, I interrupted you. Not a real male. I've seen that happen with reversals.
Oh, probably more common with those. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I'm worried about with my first reversal. I've got great clustering and stuff like that. Everything's on cue. But I don't know if it's going to drop pollen, how much pollen it's going to drop, and if that pollen is going to be viable.
Right.
So.
Oh, you're off to the races. You're using the one and done spray, right?
Yeah, that Hybrid X, that Elite.
Yeah, Elite X Elite.
No joke. One application, I didn't spray it to where it was just dripping wet. In fact, I didn't spray it. I sprayed it until I seen the first runoff, and then I stopped. Like they say, don't spray it until it drips, but coat it entirely. So
Yeah, that's a game changer, man. I've heard that from multiple guests, but I never really sunk in when you need to spray it over and over and over, how much of a pain that would be compared to just one and done. So
oh, good Lord.
that should change the game. If more people know about that stuff, I mean, it's fucking free seeds for life.
Mm-hmm. And if you know, you're working with stable genetics to begin with, in theory, you shouldn't have to be as concerned. You should always be concerned with stability, but the protein, you shouldn't have to be as concerned with them because you took the time to work with stabilized parents. You know,
Man,
I mean,
no kidding.
building blocks matter. So
I don't want to
start
speak out of turn, but go ask Rizo Rich, baby. That's just seems to be the case. And I don't know if feminization or repeated feminization, for instance, might like eventually do something down the road. But
I could see it. I mean,
but I love the feminized ideals. I love that method. I've grown 2 feminized plants and they were great. I wasn't like, oh, these are totally different. Like mine did great. I feel like very limited experiment, obviously 2, but in my limited experience, I do have to say I like the feminized genetics.
yeah, the ones that I chose to run were great, and they were from CSI. I highly recommend them. They're actually the breeders that turned me on to the reversal spray. So
sweet. Shout out CSI. Come up a couple times in the chat. Actually, someone was asking earlier in the beginning of the show there. Might be behind the paywall. I don't know what's being chopped up on this episode. I do know what an anonymous Growcast member wants to ask you, though. What should one expect? What should one expect while running Chem de la Corpse? Chem de la Corpse. Jay Smooth, the producer Jay. This guy's got a strain. It's called. This guy. He doesn't do anything sweet. He says there's too many sweet strains out there. He wants gas. He wants funk. He wants spray paint and death. And Chem de la Corpse has even like these carrion rotting terps. What do you think of that?
My man.
My man says there you go.
Bring it back.
Jay Smooth approved.
So it's RIP from CSI. RIP is Ghost OG to Kim 91. And then I took that I took multiple phenos of that. I've actually popped quite a few packs of RIP. I bred with it in the Kim DI 95 breedings. I bred with it in the Kimberley breedings, and all different phenos. I didn't use the same phenos. I hunted new ones for each breeding. And so the Kim de la Corpse, I took the RIP phenos to my Kim DI 95, or was it the I Smell Gas? Either way, they're both Kim DI 95 variants.
The
of
RIP pheno, dude. I like that name. I didn't miss your question, Hippie. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, buddy. We're just jumping around.
But you can expect very heavy chem notes, and not like your GMO. I'm talking like burnt rubber, very foul, 8 heads in a duffel bag. I love using that term. It's rotting fucking old dirty socks, just sweat body.
Dirty socks.
Just it's in a full things, because you've got the Ghost OG, which is one of the best OGs out there, if you ask me. Ooh. And so it adds that gas in the background, but it's not very overwhelming because you've got all that chem, and the chem DI 95 that I used was like burning rubber and like a burnt tennis ball. Yeah, very putrid.
Putrid. So. Dog farts, says Droot.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Sure.
Yeah.
I like the burning tennis ball.
Chem death space.
Nice. Yes, sir. So there you go. That's what you can expect with the Chem de la Corpse. We'll go to.
What was that question that
Hippie. We'll go to Hippie's question next here. When you're Covert's like, I gotta know what that hippie stick question was. He's asking about what traits you specifically try to isolate when you're doing your back crosses. What are you so enamored with that you're ready to back cross?
So that's the thing with me. I don't go for photocopies as far as like I don't want because I'm a fan of the hunt. I don't want all my seeds for the end user to be exactly the same. They can get a fucking clone and do that, you know, and cut out all the work of popping seeds. Um, so for me, I look for traits that one doesn't have. You know, if this is my female that I'm working with, obviously I've selected her for whatever reasons. The male that I'm using is meant to complement her in the areas that she's lacking. So if she's very OG growth, the node spacing, you know, say is 2 to 3 inches between each, you know, new node development. The male that I'm going to look for is going to be much tighter spacing, a little slower in the growth. That way, hopefully in the offspring, we get the best of both worlds, a slightly slower growing OG that has tighter node spacings, but still holds the same bud structure and the gas that you prefer in your OGs, so to speak.
Damn, dog. That's interesting, though. Like you said, the complementing the parts that are lacking in the female. I like that.
And you know, I'm not saying it's wrong to choose a male that looks exactly like the females, because so ironically enough, in the preservation breeding that I'm going to be doing with the high octane OG BX3s, for me they will be F2s because I'm taking F1 siblings from the packs that I've popped and breeding them together. So with that being said, I'm doing it two different ways. One is the complementing each other, you know, the method that I just spoke of.
Right.
And the other is what I feel is a true preservation of each breeding partner looks exactly the same or as close to it as I can get, because I want that to be as close to as close of a representation as what the original breeder had wanted as far as seed junkie. Like if he were to see that particular version, he would say, dude, that looks exactly like, you know, the stuff that I was growing. Whereas the one that they complement each other, if the original breeder sees the progeny off of that version, he may question, you know, hey, you know, what's going on over here? Oh, that's your stuff as well, but both parents were different, this and this, this and this, and it created this. So just a couple different ways to do it, and I feel that there's no wrong way to do it. That's why I'm trying to offer more options.
Very enlightening.
You know, you got the copied version, and then you got the hunter's version. So
I love it, man. Very concise. I think chat was getting a kick out of that. We got, like I said, aforementioned earlier in the show, we've got breeders in the chat that are just loving it. White Clouds Dan, some people growing out his gear, and they love when you come on and other breeders come on and talk about, you know, like you said, the difference between preservation breeding versus, you know, just different goals. Very, very cool. FYI, says Izzy Natural, Damn Dog is a strain name. Oh, there you go. Shout out to Damn Dog. Epic show, great reviews, says 420.
man, people will name anything.
I'm looking over at Jay. He's high as fuck. We're high as fuck in here, folks. That's how it goes. Oh man, I said there weren't any questions, and now there's too many to get to. This is where I like to be, though. I like the anxiety and the pressure of too many questions. Someone wants to know about your curing practices, because your boy needs advice, he says.
Curing practices, man, that's that's something that I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on. Being in Colorado, it's so difficult to just maintain. But I like to hang whole plant. I do that in the dark at like 50 to 60 degrees at most. I would prefer closer to 50. Any cooler, and it really slows the drying process too much, and you've got to worry about some possible bud rot or any
Kind of
any
doesn't
bad stuff
allow.
that
Yeah.
happens when you have vegetative life that's dying. And then the humidity, about the same, 40 to 50. Some people are different, but that's just what I prefer. It goes into the jar before the biggest stems, like you actually get a snap. I like a good mix between a bend and a snap,
Oh, interesting.
So because when you're curing it, obviously you're trying to get that inner moisture to come out of the bud, but not like super fast, because you don't want the uh, that photosynthesis, or excuse me, the chlorophyll breakdown and stuff like that. Because the plants lighten up, the chlorophyll breaks down the sugars and all that stuff.
Over time, yeah.
So if it dries too fast, that stops.
You have to
And you
fight
end
the
up with
dryness in Colorado, so that's probably the issue for you. Do you have to add humidifiers?
I don't. I freaking hate humidifiers all around.
Yeah.
As far as like with my live plants, I compensate with foliage sprays and stuff like that, because humidifiers, there's a lot of bacteria and stuff like
Yeah,
that in
no
there.
shit. Wow, dude.
And your walls, I hate to say it, your walls with a humidifier constantly dumping a set amount in there, they soak up that excess moisture. And I mean, I say this being a home grower, so I have regular house walls and stuff like that, that I take into consideration. But if I was in a facility, obviously I would be using air handlers, humidifiers, stuff like that, to keep stuff in control, because that's what it's meant for. But I grow differently at home, so.
Damn, dude, dropping knowledge in here. When you look at the bottom of those humidifiers and the dehumidifiers too, you can fucking see that nasty gunk, that biofilm, whatever it's called, that mildewy layer, that algic layer that builds on the bottom of that fucking reservoir, man. I have thought about that time and time again, because I've had issues with fungal shit back here in the Midwest that I never had out west, and so I've been going crazy. Like, we're actually going to do a whole episode on microbial control, because I mean, shit, it really wasn't on my radar much until you have to deal with it. And I don't know. You're right. Those humidifiers are just bacteria factories.
Like someone said, you can clean them with peroxide and other stuff that obviously they make products for that, which I highly recommend. It's just my personal, I don't do it at home, simply because when I have a room with enough pots in it, the last thing I'm worried about is adding humidity. If anything, I'm like, fuck, I need to get this humidity out of my room, out of my house.
Yeah,
So.
no, I can see that. Ozonated water, would that work? I think that would definitely help. Yeah, they add ozone to treat water to kill the bacteria, to do just that. So
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'm not an expert enough to say if it's bacteria free
But
or if it
I
won't
think
ever.
you can't you use like a UV light too to keep bacteria or something? I don't know. Maybe that grows it. I'm not familiar in that department, but I feel like something that you could put in your water, outside of a chemical, that would keep bacteria and stuff from growing.
Let's see here. Any differences? Any differences between S1 and S2 when you're reversing varieties?
I was just talking about that with somebody. I think the farthest I would take it is S1. I mean, you're bound to run into problems the further you've self itself. I mean,
That's just the
you
way
can only
nature
fuck
works.
so long before you fuck yourself.
It's true. He ain't lying. He ain't lying, folks. That might be the title of the show.
And again, I'm new to femming, so
Sure.
please bear with on the complete lack of knowledge in that
No, but
department.
you're expressing your skepticism. We've had feminized breeders on before, and there's always a lively discussion in chat afterwards, which is, just kind of like you were saying, what are the differences? How long or far could you take this realistically? Is there a point of diminishing returns? Could you introduce males back in to a certain degree and then to mitigate those diminishing returns? If you can, and if we understand all of that, will this eventually be the future of breeding? Those are all good questions.
I honestly think fem seeds are the future of breeding for large scale. And we both know that they're not slowing down on factory grows by any means.
Yeah.
They're getting bigger. You have corporations that are, joining together to have a bigger stake in the game. And so it's like those facilities are more apt to buy feminized seeds than they are regular seeds. 10 to 1. It's easier for them.
Right.
You have smaller grows that aren't scared of having males because they know that, hey, it takes just as long to start flowering a fucking male as it does a female. It doesn't mean that, instantly you have seeds because there's a male in your facility. It's like, so there'll always be a market for both. But I do believe that feminized seeds are the future. I say that because clones, even clones themselves, are being phased out with tissue culture.
Yeah, no kidding.
So in that aspect, it's only a matter of time before you start seeing a huge fall off in regular seed sales versus feminized seed sales. And I can personally attest that I lose more customers than I can remember, and not in a bad way, to not having fem seeds available, which is exactly why I jumped into this. And it was just by sheer happenstance that the guys that I'm doing this for said that they would be happy to let me release the two feminized versions that I'm working on right now under my name to, my customers and followers and stuff like that. So
It didn't give
I'm
you grief.
excited.
Go figure. There's still people out there collabing. Still people out there not getting upset. People like you, people like Brett, people who are down for the collab. I love to hear it. Shit, I had a point.
I just sent Brett both of my phenos of my high octane.
Oh, your high octane, nice for a skunk hunt.
Yeah.
Skunk
or
hunt.
for whatever.
Skunk hunt. Skunk hunt. Skunk hunt. Skunk hunt. Skunk hunt. I'm sorry, I just chanted over you. Can you repeat that, Cobra? There it is. There's the chat.
You check that out. He's always got something in the works, and I just the more support we can send his way, the better.
Nice, man. Yeah, good people there for sure. Okay, we're coming up to the top of the hour. We'll go a few minutes over here, and then we'll wrap up the show for the evening. Hort has a question about stabilization. He has a strain. He really likes it. How do I go to make sure it's a stable breeding parent? And if it isn't, where would I start? Clone it? Stress it? Test it?
Well, everything is going to hurt. I mean, the plants can only take so much stress. With that being said, how much does it take for that plant to flip as far as like to drop balls if it's a female? Is it, there was 1 or 2 incidents of a light leak, and all of a sudden I've got fucking balls at week 4, week 3, week 5, whatever.
Or how about nothing? How about just you grew it like normal? And that's exactly right. How fragile is it? That's what we're talking about here.
Right. test it all you want, but just know that it's gonna hurt.
You're so right.
Don't get upset, God damn it, throwing this all out because it dropped balls. It's like, no, it's gonna happen. There's no bulletproof fucking strain out there. I don't care what any breeder says. And I've never heard them say that either. I'm just saying, like, there's no bulletproof strain.
That's so true. Riser Rich is the same exact thing.
Just track it. How much did it take for you to, push that strain to actually turn into a herm? After that, hey, is it worth breeding to you? Is that an adequate amount of stress to put on a plant to say, hey, nobody's going to do that. That's not in a regular setting. So to me, that's perfectly workable. Like, why not? Nobody's going to put it under that much stress. And if they do, that's their own damn fault.
Yep. That's a good point, because it's something that I've brought to attention before. Is few plants have the male and female gender to begin with. And then cannabis is this magical plant for so many different reasons. But one of the reasons it's so magical is that it has this ability to intersex. It has this incredible magical fucking shape-shifting ability. And because it has that, it's going to do it. It'll show you that it can just because it can. That's what I've explained to people before in the chat. Like, you're never going to get rid of that trait, and you shouldn't. It's really interesting and unique. But like you said, is it fucking throwing nanners in week 5? You know what I mean? And you didn't even fuck with it?
Bit of stress, or is it like,
yeah,
damn, I really shook that tree before something fell?
yeah, totally. Or is it like, oh, I ran this 10 weeks and it popped 1 and the strain's really fire, I'm still going to keep it around. It's worth it. It all depends on if it's worth it to you. Mm-hmm. Or one of the strains that I've been smoking, that Riser Rich has grown out. You speculate whether or not that late nanner pollen is sterile. You find a nanner, but then you don't really find any seeds. I wonder if that pollen was sterile off that cut. You ever think of that?
So a lot of that time is that's a sign of maturity from the plant. If it's in late flower,
yep.
You get that nanner, and a nanner is not a fucking male flower. It's inside of a male flower. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but
good point.
It's not a male flower.
Yeah.
A lot of people get that confused. It's a sign of maturity and ripeness from the plant. And if you push it longer, you're just degrading those heads, because they can only last so long to the elements, the light, the UV, the airflow, stuff like that, before they start breaking down and degrading themselves. So really look for that, and try and consider the fact that nanner may simply be because the plant's ready for harvest. You may want to push it a little further for whatever reason, but that plant just may be ready for harvest.
That is fascinating, man. Yeah, because you may find one of those and then not find a seed.
If you're getting a male flower that opens, you know what I mean, and you see those little pollen nanners inside of that, that's an issue that should be looked at. Like, was there something that caused this plant to give me a male flower? Because that is generally going to have viable pollen in it, whereas that ripening nanner or maturity nanner is most likely going to just be sterile.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you get that a lot from Kim Dog.
Hort's clarifying and absolutely. He says, I meant stable as in breeding, like a stable breeding parent. Absolutely, man. That's this is 100% true. It works both ways. The stability, the intersex predisposition is genetic. It passes down. I know unstable strains that have been bred and then their progeny is unstable. We know this. It works the same way otherwise, as Covert was saying earlier in the interview. If you're working with 2 stable parents, again, back to Riso Rich's garden, you're just not going to see those. You're not, the propensity to herm is absolutely genetic, and we know it works it totally works both ways. I'm just going to say it. We know it works both ways. It's just true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Under general circumstances, the progeny from those 2 otherwise stable parents that have been, for whatever reason, shared, we're assuming that they're clones or something that has been produced from otherwise notable parents. There's they should be workable parents, and the protein from them should be fine. Obviously, you should test everything, but it's there's strains that you just shouldn't be working with. Let's just say that, and we all know some of those. Anything with cookies up front, you're gonna have herm issues right off the bat. But I know a lot of people that say they're cookies hybrids. They'll take the first gen clones, pop the fucking male flowers off of them, and they never fucking drop male flowers again.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
What's up with that? As a breeder, I don't know because I'm not a fucking botanist.
Yeah, nature's gonna nature for sure. I almost feel like that's the exception that proves the rule, but that is a very good point, man. Very, very poignant. 420, Australia member from down under. Shout out to our overseas members. He has a question about, not a question, but he has a very interesting comment. Kind of his current dilemma. He's got a great sativa, but it seems to herms the last few generations. And he said week 5 herms. So the problem with that is if it herms too early, it's just going to completely turn to seed. When the plant starts focusing on seed production, you end up with, larvae, seeded, not very sticky, not very trichome laden bud. So too early will ruin your harvest. It'll ruin your harvest.
Oh, it'll totally ruin your harvest, whether it was too early or too late. If you don't want seeds, it ruins your fucking harvest.
Yeah, good point. That works both ways too.
Whether they're mature.
Good point, man.
I mean, hell, I almost feel like letting it run the full fucking, maturity to where it's easier to get those seeds out is better than fucking
I'm ruined.
Getting whatever pulling out right away, fucking having these little, granules that you gotta fucking worry about. Have you seen the stuff that you break down from a dispensary that just has all those little granules in it? Those we call them aborts.
Yes.
Yeah, man, it's so annoying. It makes the weed taste like garbage. It gives me a headache.
100%. Jay's laughing. He's stoned out. Okay, here we are. We're over 2 hours here. Jonathan, this has been a pleasure as usual. Let's wrap it up. We've got one more question, and then I'll ask you to talk about some upcoming lines, and then we'll call it a night. I'm sure this one won't take long. Hippie Stick asking another question. Do you ever consider doing any auto work?
Honestly, no, because they're too unpredictable. I've grown autos. Some of the autos that I've grown have flowered out like that.
Yeah.
And then some of them, like it got to the point to where I was like, okay, this is taking so long. I'm just flipping you to flower. So
I know
for me, it was very hit or miss. If you're into that, I'm sure you have your breeders that you go through. As far as like what to expect from their seeds. Their plants get this big before they flip to flower. They like to be worked. They don't like to be worked. It's not an area that I felt was beneficial for me to tap into. When I started breeding, it wasn't a very big market to begin with. But it definitely has exploded within the last couple of years.
Nice, man. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. I don't love the ones that flower early and things like that too. But I see you and Brett and these type of people stay in their lane. Like you could go after every shiny object, but I like how you have what you're working on and you kind of stick to it. So I highly respect that. Sonny is hopping off, says good night. We're gonna wrap it up. Last question: what's next for Covert Genetics? And then we'll do a little outro. So we have the giveaway too, folks. Might want to stick around. But what's next for Covert Genetics? Other than the feminized.
I've got the high octane, the 2 variations that will be coming after the feminized, and then after that will probably be I don't know. I'll probably tap into my methane seeds.
Oh, methane, huh?
the Kim DI-95 F3s.
Chem D I-95. Someone made a comment about that. We didn't get to it. A question about that. So I apologize. We didn't get to that one. Wait, we'll do a Growcast episode, me and you. Let's do a main podcast episode. Anytime. We'll do it up.
I'm free whenever. So
every
at
time.
your
Folks.
soonest convenience.
He never says no. Let me get some shout outs to Covert in the chat. Skunks in the chat? Tires in the chat? What's a good emoji? Toilets in the chat. That's a reference to the sound effect there, my friend. They're not commenting on you. There we go. Mushrooms in the chat. I like that, GMO.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Covert. We appreciate you, buddy. We'll have you back on soon. And best of luck in all of your wonderful endeavors. Hunting gas, hunting skunk, hunting all the
For
lovely.
sure.
What happened here? Oh. New pumpkins. That's how long we've been going.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you later, buddy. We appreciate you again, and we'll see you next time, my friend.
For sure. Take care.
See you, brother. I am so stoned, folks. One more time. The great Jonathan Covert. Over a 2-hour stream here. We started with the sampler attack, and here we are at the end of the night. How you holding up there, Producer Jay?
Very well. It was a blast. So,
It was a blast indeed.
it was hard. Like I almost got TKO'd, but
you came back strong.
I came back.
Yeah, totally. You
Got
put
off
on a
the
good
canvas,
effort,
got off
and
the
you won the
canvas.
decision. You
That's
got
the important part.
You won the split decision, I would say.
Yeah.
I would absolutely say. Zoot-alicious indeed. All right, let's wrap it up here, everybody. Giveaway time. No time to think. Someone's about to win a prize of their choice. You want a pack of seeds? Or do you want a swag pack? You get to choose. We're going the old-fashioned way through the attendee list, but don't stop posting in chat. Post what you would pick. Seeds or pack? Post what you would pick if you won. Seeds. Seeds, pack. Swag, seed, pack. Can somebody clip that? Can you imagine if that's what people really thought Growcast TV was making? Seed, pack, seed. Is this in another language?
Seds.
Am I tripping on fucking...
Seds.
Am I on mushrooms right now? Is this an alien language? Congratulations to Pappy. Pappy wins a prize. Pappy's an old school member from NorCal. We love Pappy. He's an outdoor grower. And he says, what? And he said, really? Yeah, buddy, you just won. You just won a prize on Growcast TV. Have you not won yet? It's been around a while. I'm kind of surprised. About to grow a tree, says Pistol P. He's referring to Pappy and his post in the outdoor grow. Do I need to pull it up? Do I need to pull it up live on Growcast TV? We better cut the YouTube feed. Come on over to growcastpodcast.com/membership so you can see my plants and my members' plants without getting me banned from the internet forever. That's right. That's how it works. And if they don't ban you, they shadow ban you. Pull it up. Pappy, you don't mind. Do you mind if we... Pappy, do you mind if we pull up the pictures of the of your plants just for membership here, not on the YouTube side or anything? You don't mind, right? None of them seem to show your face. Yeah, he doesn't mind. Banned from the internet for life. Forever, ever. I would like to get an echo effect. I wouldn't mind that. Inigo says he snapped some of those pics. I'm glad I saw that before I moved the thing here. Come on down to the new screen. That's right, Growcast TV always improving. Jay can't see the screen here. We're gonna have to get him. We'll get him a producer spot so he can see what Cambot sees. But we're pulling up. It'll be over on this TV over here, Jake. Good googly moogly man. Would you look at these? Can you believe this? These are trees we're working with here, folks. Let me zoom in so that Cambot adjusts his color correctly. So the Mozzie Melons by Heart and Soil is that one there. Can you believe that?
No way.
You can get it. Oh wait, can you see from there? Oh, yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. You can see this fucking. How many pounds is that? Hey, I don't know. It'd be cool to guess the weight on that.
That's a tree.
That is a tree right there, man. Beast says White Clouds and unfucking real. Someone says nice butt. Special. That is indeed special, I would say. The butt or the tree? And what they don't tell you is that Pappy is 6'4". That's right, everybody. Pappy is 6'4". So you think that tree is maybe, I don't know, 11 feet tall? It's actually like, it's like 250 feet tall.
That's impressive.
Think of how much real stuff would be accomplished without the internet. No kidding. But then we wouldn't have Growcast TV. We'd all be talking to each other through tin cans and strings. It's one or the other. It's one or the other, folks. Let's see. Yeah, that's the impressive picture. We'll leave it at that. We'll stop bothering Pappy, invading Pappy's privacy, his Pappy privacy. Hey, how come you can see it too? Oh, so I did pull it up for Jay. That's brilliant. Cambot did that for me. Thank you, Cambot. Let's see. Do we have anything else to do? This show was fucking fantastic. Thank you to all the members, of course, tuning in. We have YouTube, but no internet. We could just stare at the blank app. Great show, says Perp Terp. Thank you. Thank you, Perp Terp. We'll give ourselves a pat on the back. Shout out to producer Jay. Did you enjoy producer Jay in the studio? Let him hear it, everybody. I found it fantastic. He's a good friend of mine, and definitely adds some spice to the mix. He's just stoned.
Yeah,
staring.
hear it.
There he is.
Shout it out.
Shout it out. Shout out to
Appreciate
Jay. Jay Smooth in the house. Awesome. We'll have him back for sure, everybody. I think that's all for now. We'll light up one. Here you go. Light this one up. Yeah, there you go, buddy. We'll have Jay light it up as we exit here. Stay tuned for a Seed Co episode coming up. We're going to talk about clone drops, feminized drops. We're going to talk about the crosses, of course, that we were discussing some of the parents of tonight. And just shout out to everybody. Shout out to the entire NorCal crew. Mary Beth Sanchez and Ari from Dino Myco, Rugged Gent, Inigo, Pappy, all those guys. The travel vlog is dropping soon. You guys are going to see yourself in that vlog. It is so fucking good. Queen of the Sun, Bongs and Beardies. Anybody I'm forgetting, it's just because I'm high. So stay tuned for the travel vlog. That Sacramento vlog turned out really, really good. Jay, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, let's get you back in the studio.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, sleep well, everybody. Hope you're stoned. Go pass out. We'll see you Saturday for the AMA, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday for Growcast TV Season 2.
I hope you enjoyed today's free episode of Growcast TV. If you want to get in on the entire archive of Growcast TV and join us live to ask guest questions, head over to patreon.com/Growcast right now. Get in on the best membership in cannabis. We got the member podcast. We got Growcast TV. We got giveaways. We got the Slack chat and so much more. Go over there right now. Just $10 a month. Patreon.com/Growcast. I'll see you there.